This is Nathan Norman,
Sydney Wright,
and Aaron Pugh from Soul Tax.
And you are listening to Doggie Time on DentonRadio.com.
Can you dig it?
We can dig it.
I knew that you could.
I'm impatient with stupidity. My people have learned to live without it.
I can't take any of this seriously unless I know who I'm talking to.
Just a minute, ladies and gentlemen. I think something is happening.
It's Doggie Time.
Okay, we're going to try this again. All right, here we go. Hi, you have reached the studios of Bone Doggie. I may not be able to come to the phone right now for various reasons, which are not your business at all. But if you would like to leave a message, feel free. This is America. You can say what you want to, and I may or may not call you back. Do you know why? Because this is America, and I can do what I want to. What do you mean that was not friendly? I thought that was rather engaging. Pause up, my cats and kittens. You are listening to Doggie Time on DentonRadio.com. I am your host and humble narrator, Bone Doggie, here to remind you that soap and education are not as sudden as a massacre, but they are more deadly in the long run. So welcome, view-hoo, and hello, my cats and kittens. We'd like to welcome you to this, our 21st Bone Doggie episode on DentonRadio.com. And I would love to start off tonight with a bit of fantastic news, just fantastic news. I got a little text over the weekend from the Duchess, and she said that a couple of buddies of hers had walked into two Charlies over there off University, where the Duchess is a bartender, and said that we, Bone Doggie and the Hickory Street Hellraisers, had made it into the Dallas Observer.
Cool!
And so curiosity naturally got her cat, and she called me. And I went in, and lo and behold, I looked up the Dallas Observer and found our band listed in a story. The story is by a Daniel Hopkins. It ran Friday, June 15th. Apparently, he submitted it at 11:36 a.m. I mean, the internet is wonderful. You could just have all kinds of information there. The category for this story was Listomania, and apparently what Mr. Hopkins does is he makes lists for DC9 at Night, which is the Dallas Observer music blog. And I don't know if you've ever seen the Dallas Observer, but if you want a good giggle, grab you an Observer, and don't drink, because you won't understand it if you do. So anyway, this story here, when I went to look it up, I actually searched Bone Doggie, and it come up under the heading, the 15 worst local band names.
Excellent!
And I love that, my cats and kittens. I just think that is precious. It is. I just want to snuggle with it. It is so great to be known as one of the 15 worst local band names to Mr. Hopkins. And I did get a giggle out of it. And as I read, I was reading his the introduction paragraphs here, and I will go over this. Apparently Mr. Hopkins blogs that inputting, I-N-P-U-T-T-I-N-G, I'm not sure if that's a word. We're going to Google it and find out.
We're going to have to blow the computer.
So inputting hundreds of music listings per week to be featured online and in print in The Observer, I see the occasional band name so bad I question my existence on Earth. I find that fascinating. I have never seen anything so bad that I question my existence on Earth, but I think this is a stab at humor here.
Call me Daddy.
And indeed, it does go on to be rather funny, but he finishes that sentence with, some are funny, some are vile, and some are embarrassing. In fact, the idea of having a band name is kind of stupid. I don't understand that remark, but we're going to let it flow anyway.
It is a riddle, wrapped in a mystery, inside an enigma.
You don't run around, you don't round up 3 or 4 friends and say, whenever we get together, let's call ourselves Space Explosion. Or if you do, you certainly don't expect others to take you seriously. Now, we all know, my cats and kittens, that that's not exactly how the functioning of a band works. That's neither hither nor thither. It actually makes no difference. Mr. Hopkins goes on to say, nevertheless, some bands, a rare few, do come up with a good, workable band name. I would like to hear or see the list of the rare few of bands that have a good name. I'm sure that he has a very good list of good names, as well as he's got an excellent list here of bad names. He goes on to finish, and it says, the following, however, is a list of some of the worst ones I've seen in recent months. So, along in this list, as you go down, you have Pooh Live Crew, which I think is pretty funny. The number 3, which apparently Mr. Hopkins believes is ungoogleable, and I can understand that, but, you know, the 3 band or something like that, I'm sure it can be got around. It depends on what the 3 is and who they want. Number 13 on the list is, of course, Bone Doggie and the Hickory Street Hellraisers. And this was what was funny, is he said, the problems with this band name are twofold. And I say, eat your heart out, bands that only have a problem that is one-fold. Can you dig that?
We can dig it.
Just having an ampersand in your band's name puts it dangerously close to being on the list. And that right there is a drag by Cats and Kittens, because that is not true. We do not use an ampersand. So
what we've got here is failure to communicate.
Unfortunately, Mr. Hopkins has gotten some bad information there, which is a shame, because he's got such a good article going on here. So in future, Mr. Hopkins, if you are listening, we do not ever use an ampersand. However, if you'd like, we can run out and get one real quick. That'll validate just about everything.
You cannot afford an ampersand. You're going to have to take the time to type out the 3 letters completely.
And then the second part of the twofold is Mr. Hopkins goes on to say, but when the number 1 guy in your band goes by Bone Doggie, and he did spell it right, my Caps and Kittens, Bonedoggie, spelled it right, so that's awesome. He said, when the number 1 guy in your band goes by Bone Doggie, you've got a level red bad band name on your hands. That is awesome. I'm not exactly sure where level red is. I'm going to Google it. If it's a Homeland Security thing, I bet that it's like a number 1 at the top. So that is brilliant, brilliant, brilliant.
You are the most egotistical, self-deluded person I have ever met.
I know, right? So anyway, once we got past that, and then we go on to some of the other names, the terrible names on this list, we got Vanilla Face Jones, which is kind of interesting. It says here that it might be a Borat reference that falls flat, especially considering that most of the trio's catalog consists of Beatles covers. I'm not sure I make the connection either, but Vanilla Face Jones is quite the name. And this is great. I love this. The entire Curtain Club calendar. And he's got groups here, and we go over these guys, because a lot of these guys come up and play in Denton, my Cats and Kittens, and we get to read them out during the gig schedule. Reaper Crew, Lotus Sutra, Physmatics, Noe and the Nasties, Decide Your Betrayal, Ligma, The Eighth Digit, Slow to the Cause. I mean, these are great names. I just love this. So he got all those guys to play over at the Curtain Club. Should probably come up here and hit rubber gloves. I'm sure he'd find a couple good ones there. The next on the list is Graceland Ninjas, and that's Ninjaz. I think that's kind of funny. He says as far as cover bands go, the Ninjas are actually really good, but not good enough apparently to let the name slide. And then my Cats and Kittens, he's got old Whiskey Dick on this list here, and Whiskey Dick is a band out of Fort Worth, a duo out of Fort Worth, and they are rockers. They're good old boy rockers, and Whiskey Dick's actually a pretty fun band. So I thought it was very cool to see them make this list. Los Tex Maniacs, and you could probably conjure up all kinds of things with the imagination with that one. Old Snack, great band, terrible name, according to Mr. Hopkins. Let's see, Fat by the Gallon. I think this would be a jam band, but Fat by the Gallon perpetrate pretty unforgettable punk rock under an unforgettably bad moniker. Wofat is another one. That's W-O-F-A-T, and that's a long line of bands referencing Hawaii Five-0. And I do agree with Mr. Hopkins on that one, definitely. Next up on the list, my Cats and Kittens, our good friends, Fatty Lumpkin, good old Fatty Lumpkin. So we are very honored to have made the list with Fatty Lumpkin and the boys. And if you're counting my Cats and Kittens, that makes 2 bands from Denton that have made the worst band name list. So Denton is making its mark, my Cats and Kittens. Yours truly and the Hickory Street Hellraisers are representing with Fatty Lumpkin. Pimpadelic also. Now Pimpadelic's been around for 1,000 years, my Cats and Kittens, and they played in Denton a lot during the last part of the 90s, I guess, and around the 2000s. I'm not sure exactly when because time is an illusion, but they were here all the time. They've always, been pretty entertaining band, so they made the list well. Now, I love this next one. This is a great name, Tyrannosaurus. Now, they've at least got a female singer. That's all I can think. But, yeah, Tyrannosaurus, that's actually a pretty good name. And, of course, the #1 bad band name on Mr. Hopkins' list is Johnny Pecker and the Beaver Bustin' Pickle Weasels. Now, Johnny Pecker and the Beaver Bustin' Pickle Weasels have got an ampersand, but apparently their ampersand did not merit a mention, but Mr. Hopkins goes on to say, this is it, the #1 worst band name I've heard anywhere. And so that is a great bad band name, Johnny Pecker and the Beaver Bustin' Pickle Weasels, with an ampersand, my cats and kittens. So anyway, that's the list, and we are so proud to have made this. And I made a little comment on there. Actually, unfortunately, I made 2 comments because I wasn't sure one took. But I did thank Mr. Hopkins for the free publicity. It was just awesome. And I did tell him there was an honor to have made his list. And I hope we make it again next year. We're going to keep trying. And also, just like to thank him for the excellent free press. I mean, this is really great. Apparently, we are typed into a list in the Dallas Observer. And I got to be honest with you, my cats and kittens, I had no idea we were ever in the Dallas Observer. So this was quite the honor here, and we'd like to thank Mr. Daniel Hopkins and the Dallas Observer for putting us in his little Listomania list there. We consider it to be quite an honor, like I said. And we are now going to bear the mantle of Bone Doggie and Bone Doggie and the Hickory Street Hellraisers with a considerably larger and more substantial amount of pride. So we are waving that paw and crossbones high. Can you dig it?
I can dig it.
I knew that you could. Paws up, cats and kittens. This is Bone Doggie, and I thought it might be wise, prudent, moral, and just to just take a wee minute and talk to you about drugs. Now, it's not that talk. This is about those old prescription meds you've got cluttering up your litter box. Now, there's a lot of people out there, my cats and kittens, that clean out their medicine cabinets just by throwing away their old prescriptions, or worse yet, flushing them down the toilet. Now, good folks at the purification plant do their best, but we all know it's not a perfect science. These things are messing up our water supply, and life's difficult enough without having to worry about ingesting somebody's dead Uncle Leroy's heartworm medicine. Can you dig it? I knew that you could. So when the time comes to get rid of your outdated prescriptions, please don't just dump them in the trash or flush them. You can check with your friendly pharmacist out there in Doggy Land, and they can tell you all about the safe disposal and recycle programs that are available. So let's keep our big blue Mama Earth prescription drug free, my cats and kittens. I mean, hey, we all drink out of the same creek. Can you dig it? I knew that you could.
Suitcase of regret.
All right, my cats and kittens, I think that it is now time to play a little music. I'm in the mood to play a little tune here, and so what we're going to do is we are going to reach into the magic grab bag of that is DentonRadio.com and pull out a lovely little tune. This is actually one of my favorites here that we've got on the rotation here at DentonRadio.com. It is from our dear friends, Ashley Gatta and the Free People, or the Freeps, as we call them. And it's great. I think Ash and the Freeps are going to actually be joining Bone Doggie and the Hickory Street Hellraisers up at Abbey Underground, I believe in August, my cats and kittens, if I'm not mistaken. I will look and see on the magic schedule here, and yep, it looks like August 17th. We've got Ashley Gatta and the Free People, along with my boys 1140, so we will be shredding the Abbey Underground that night. It's going to be a good dancer. Anyway, back to the real world. We are going to bring up a tune by Ashley Gatta, and it's called Bonus Track, and you are listening to Doggy Time on DentonRadio.com. Can you dig it? Ha, I knew that you could.
Yeah, you only thought this CD was over. Now turn it up. quiet. Forgot all about my new CD till it pops on and scares the heck out of me. I nearly wrecked my ride. It gets me every time, oh yeah.
Yo, it's the bonus track, giving you a heart attack, coming at you from the gutter as a matter of fact.
Already.
Bonus like Christmas, bonus like extra levels, bonus like a raise it up mucho dinero. 1748, on this track you will find there's always something buried little deeper inside. Buried like big rocks, buried like Tupac, buried like that shirt you've been looking for under dirty socks. You're in the recession, giving you a bargain, 11 instead of 10, extra track without charging. Get your fill on this, it's like a late night snack, nothing satisfies your craving like
bonus track, sneak attack, coming at your eardrums. Yeah, it's the bonus track, so surprising yet slightly overdone. It's the bonus track, got to pack it up and throwing this one on. It's the bonus track, the bonus track. Do it up acoustic, use your kazoos, play a rock and roll or even sing the blues. Anything you want because it's the bonus track. Sneak attack, coming at your eardrums. Yeah, it's the bonus track, so surprising yet slightly overdone. Yeah, it's the bonus track, got to back it so they're throwing this one on. It's the bonus track, the bonus track. Bonus track, sneak attack, coming at your eardrums. And it's the bonus track, so surprising yet slightly overdone. It's the bonus track, got to back it so they're throwing this one on. It's the bonus track, the bonus track. Bonus track, brought to you by Mr. Fish and Chips. Represent for the little D, holding it down, y'all. Okay, it's over now. No, seriously, the album, Where the Humble Go, seriously, it's over. You can push eject. You can end it.
And now, friends, another edition of Bam Bam Cares.
Anyone can shoot a gun, but a samurai sword gets results. Bam Bam Cares.
Tune in next week, friends, for another edition of Bam Bam Cares.
Doggy time.
Doggy time.
Doggy time.
Doggy time. Doggy time.
It's doggy time.
Paws up, my cats and kittens. This is your host and humble narrator, Bone Doggie, here to remind you that every Tuesday night at 8 p.m., Doggy Time sets fire to the airwaves on DentonRadio.com by bringing you news and information, innuendo, murder, mayhem, and the best of Denton music, not to mention the humor, love, and insight straight from the lights of Backwater Opera, Soul Tax, Ashley Gatta, and of course the occasional Hickory Street Hellraiser, just to name a few. Now we know that as we suffer the day-to-day slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, my cats and kittens, you can't always bank on being in front of one of these digital contraptions every Tuesday night. Well, old Bone Doggie is here to caress your earbones with a bit of joyous news. You can hear Doggy Time anytime simply by going to DentonRadio.com and clicking the button on our player that is sporting the visage of yours truly. Or if you want the direct route, visit our blog at DentonRadioblog.com and click the Doggy Time button there. And as an extra bonus, my cats and kittens, you will also have the past episodes of Doggy Time at your fingertip. Paradise is but a mouse click away. So feel free, my cats and kittens, to sit back, relax, and at your leisure, listen to Doggy Time anytime on DentonRadio.com. Can you dig it?
I can dig it.
I can dig it.
I can dig it.
I can dig it. We can dig it.
I knew that you could.
to bone, Doggie.
What do you desire, my little nest of vipers?
What if we did Sherlock Holmes in a film noir style?
Oh, you mean the great Victorian detective in a seedy sort of back alley setting?
It could all start on a dark, stormy night in the city.
It was a dark, stormy night in the city, just like the lady said. I was sitting in my office at 221 Baker Street, knocking off a fifth of Old Boot and reading a racing form, when she walked into my life.
Mr. Sherlock Holmes?
She was the most beautiful chunk of real estate I'd ever laid eyes on. She had flaming red hair, dangerous emerald green eyes, and ruby red lips. But of course, you can't tell all that because we're in black and white. But what really got my attention was that this angel was armed to the teeth. Oh yeah, she had a gun too.
You are Mr. Sherlock Holmes, I presume?
A chill ran up my spine, and I knew right away that I was face to face with the most dangerous set of curves in the underworld. That's what the name on the door says, baby. What can I do for you?
You've probably already guessed. I am Professor Moriarty.
Professor Moriarty? I thought Moriarty was a guy. I ain't got my sunglasses on, baby, but from where I'm sitting, I can't exactly picture you in a pair of boxers. Well, okay, yeah, I can, but
it's
still.
Jane Moriarty, not James. Jane!
All right, then.
Mad. Everybody gets that wrong, and it really ticks me off.
Well, sweetheart, I could spare you 5 minutes, but then I gotta go to the can. So if you got any beans, you need to be spilling them now.
Mr. Holmes, you have been a considerable pain in my backside for some time now. La semaine, I was annoyed by you on 2 separate occasions.
Oh, only 2?
You annoyed me again when you thwarted my plans in February, and then again in March.
Oh, yeah.
I was positively hampered by your annoying interference last June.
I don't remember that.
And then you got right up my nose 2 weeks ago when you shut down my brilliant plan using the red-headed guys.
Oh, yeah. Those
Do you have any idea how hard that was to organize?
Probably a lot of paperwork.
I was so angry. I broke a fingernail when I pushed one of the henchmen in the head. That was very annoying.
So, evil genius doesn't fall out of a taxi and land in your lap, eh, sweetheart?
What?
Oh, sorry, mixed metaphor there. Go ahead.
You have 2 simple choices, Mr. Holmes. You can either back off and decide to leave me alone.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
Or I can put a bullet between your eyes, in which case you will ruin the carpet and the wallpaper, and definitely then you will leave me alone.
Well, I hate to burst your criminal mastermind bubble there, sweetheart, but I think you're overlooking a third alternative.
No, do tell me, Mr. Holmes. I'd love to see what your brilliant mind has to offer on this situation.
What if you and I shelve the firepower, hop in a taxi, and beat it on down to Denton? We can find a lovely little hole in the wall, listen to some live music, and discuss the future while we knock back a few Coca-Colas, you know what I mean?
So, you really think live music in Denton can help us solve our little differences, Mr. Holmes?
Well, it couldn't hurt, baby. We got nothing in even if jazz and a beautiful sunrise can't fix. But if we don't get in that taxi now, we'll regret it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday, and for the rest of
all right,
life.
Mr. Holmes, I get it. We'll try it your way. And we'll go Dutch. I hit an ATM on the way over here.
Whoa, so you already made a withdrawal?
No, I hit an ATM with my Humvee on the way over. There was cash lying around everywhere. It was a marvelous sight.
You know, sweetheart, I think this could be the start of a beautiful relationship. And as always, my cats and kittens, we would like to remind you that This information was not solicited. We dug it up off the internet, so if it is not exactly correct, it ain't our fault. No responsibility taken, none considered. So what we're going to start off with tonight on the calendar, we're up at Banter. And let's see, for the wonderful month of June, Friday, the 22nd, that's Friday. Oh, let's go back here. Thursday night, my Cats and Kittens at Banter on the 21st. Good old Link Shalon going to be playing up there at 6 p.m. to 7:45. Brother Link is from Baloney Moon, and he's more than likely going to be challenged and or joined by the infamous and the most frightening David White. David is one of the best mandolin players that you will ever meet in your life. So Link Shalon, probably David White up there at Banter on June 21st. That's Thursday night at 6 p.m. to 7:45. And then following that, my Cats and Kittens, is the best open mic in North Dallas. Ironically, it is hosted by yours truly. But the list goes up at 7, my Cats and Kittens. And so you got to get there at 7, be there hanging around so that you can sign up, because the list does fill up very fast. And we've got singer-songwriters, we've got poets, we've got comedians, we've got bands from time to time. And so that's just a great evening. It's every Thursday night. This particular Thursday night will be June 21st at 8 p.m. and it will go all the way till midnight, whereafter your humble narrator usually shuts it down and hits the lab across the street and has a drink. So that's Thursday. Now Friday up at Banter at 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. we got some classical guitar going on, and we're not really sure who's going to be playing, but whoever it is going to have a classical guitar in their hand. And then at 8 p.m., the Prospect Before Us. They're going to go on from 8 to 9:45. And then right after them, my Cats and Kittens at 10 p.m., our good friends Levi Cobb and the Big Smoke. That's Jess Thompson and Bertie Knoll and the guys. And this past weekend, Levi Cobb actually called old Bone Doggie up and had me come out and lay down some tracks for their new CD, which was very exciting and quite the honor. And if I am not mistaken, if we're going to jump ahead a little bit, on July 6th at Abbey Underground, the Prospect Before Us and Bone Doggie and the Hickory Street Hellraisers and Levi Cobb are going to be playing. So those two bands are going to team up with the Hellraisers, and we're going to burn down Abbey Underground. That's July 6th, but that's getting ahead of ourselves. We're still in June. So that's Friday the 22nd. On Saturday the 23rd, we got the Harp and Drum Irish Jam Session. That's Mark Davis's bunch. That's a lot of fun, my Cats and Kittens, if you've never seen that. At 6 p.m., we got Chris Villanueva is going to play some jazz up there. And he's going to be going from 6 to 7:45. And then, of course, at 8 o'clock, Bone Doggie's Open Mic Showcase. And basically what that is we get some of the guys together that are regulars up at the Banter Open Mic Showcase, and we do a little show where we give them a whole set. And this showcase is actually going to be a lot of fun, my Cats and Kittens. We're going to start out the show at 8 o'clock with Connor Coonrad. And Connor is a great player, a great singer-songwriter, and a pretty young guy. He's been showing up the last few weeks, so we decided to invite him out. About 9 o'clock, a big treat, the Deadpan Poets. That's brother Josh Sinai and Dago Matt, who has set in with the Hickory Street Hellraisers several times. And they're going to play. And then after them, my Cats and Kittens, the Future Eyes. That's Kelby Schrunk's bunch, and if you have not got to see Future Eyes, that's a treat. Those guys are very, very good. And then, of course, at the end of the night, it is not going to be Bone Doggie and the Hickory Street Hellraisers. It is going to be Bone Doggie and friends, because we do have some friends showing up. Now, it will be yours truly, along with Ghost from the Hickory Street Hellraisers, and our new bass player, Mr. Greg Beach, is going to be there, I believe, and Bam Bam may make an appearance, but joining us for that evening will be Brother Gary Chase from 1140. Now, we get together every now and then and do kind of like a semi-unplugged type night and just have a blast, my Cats and Kittens. So that is going to be quite the evening. at Banter. That's on Saturday, the 23rd. And so, if we sally forth now and go on to Dan Silverleaf, let's see, on Friday, the 22nd, we've got Possessed by Paul James and Delaney Davidson. And that is Friday, 22nd at 9 p.m. Dan's is over there on 103 Industrial Street in Denton, Texas. The cost is going to be $10, and it is an 18 and up night. And then Saturday at Dan's, the Eastern Sea, Dana Falconberry, and Charlie Shafter. That show is going to be at 10 p.m. The cost is $10 for that, and that is also an 18-plus show. And then, of course, at Dan's, every Sunday, Hares on the Mountain, our good friends Hares on the Mountain, they start at 4 p.m. That's a free show. And go see those guys if you don't get a chance. They are a lot of fun. Our dear friend Petra and Brother George and the bunch are going to be up there, and it's always just a good time. Good way to spend a Sunday afternoon. Let's see, over at Haley's, which is 122 Mulberry Street in Denton, on Thursday night, the 21st, we got the Soundings, Iore, I-O-R-E. If I got that wrong, I'm sorry. For Tomorrow May Fall. That show is supposed to start at 10 p.m. We don't have a cost available, but it's Haley's, so take a $5 with you at least, to get in the door. And if nothing else, if you don't spend the $5 at the door, then get you a drink and give Kitty a tip. Friday, the 22nd, at Haley's, we got Nothing More, Bravo Delta, Admiral Gray, and Red Light Kills. That show starts at 10 p.m. The show is $8 if you're over 21 and $10 if you're under 21. So that's going to be a good show up there. And then Saturday, let's see, the 23rd, Virgin Wolves, Ladyhead, Mothership, Maisie and the Mob, and Clanks. I think that Mr. Daniel Hopkins should be hanging around some of these places. He would get a lot more gristle for his mill as far as band names go. These are great band names. I love them. There's no cost available on that one. That show's going to start at 9 p.m. So that's what's going on over at Haley's. Okay, let's see. At Rubber Gloves, this is Thursday, the 21st. We got Wax Eater, Geist Heistler, Girl Fight, Cruellen Giallo, C-E-R-U-L-E-O-N Giallo, Cruel and Giallo, or Cruel on Giallo, I don't know. I have no idea what that is. That show's at 10 p.m. The cost to get in the door is $3 if you're over 21 and $5 if you're under 21. Friday, the 22nd, at Rubber Gloves, we got Fish Boy, Diners, Balloons, Big Round Spectacles. And if I'm not mistaken, Big Round Spectacles played with Karina Michaela up at Banter a few days ago, and that was supposed to be a really good show. That show starts at 10 p.m. at Rubber Gloves, and the cost is $5 to get in the door, $7 if you are under 21, and these all have a 17-plus age limit. And then Saturday, the 23rd, we got Divine Eye, who should probably be hanging around with Big Round Spectacles, Steel Bearing Hand, Tyrannosaurus is going to be up there. I am going to go see those guys. And then Astyanatics, A-S-T-Y-A-N-A-X, Astyanatics. I tell you what, for bad band names, I think I'm in great company. I love this. So let's see here. We got maybe not bad band names. Let's say pronounceable band names. I think maybe that should be a list. It could be a long one as far as Rubber Gloves goes. Anyway, that show's at 10 p.m. It costs $1 to get in, my cats and kittens. If you are over 21, it costs you $3. I'm going to pay $1 to go see Tyrannosaurus. I just want to see who that is. So that is what's happening up at Rubber Gloves. That's the 23rd. And let's see, that's about else what I got. Now, there are other venues in town, of course, my cat and kittens. There's always Andy's, and Andy's hasn't got anything posted, so we don't know who's up there, but there's going to be somebody. They do have a Facebook, so you could probably get into Andy's Basement Bar and Grill on Facebook and find out who's playing up there. That's 122 North Locust Street. Of course, the Abbey Underground, which is 100 West Walnut Street, and we're still trying to get information out of them as to who's going to be playing up there. And then, of course, you know, J&J's Pizza on the Squares. Usually got some tunes going on in that dirty old basement down there. And, of course, Sweetwater Grill and Tavern, which is over there, 115 South Elm Street. And Sweetwater usually has some pretty good jazz going on over there at that place. So there's a lot of jazz that goes on in Denton, and I know we don't cover a ton of it. We are working to rectify that situation and get you some little bit more information about the jazz that's going on in town. And speaking of other things, we encourage you, my cats and kittens, to go to the Denton Record Chronicle online and find Little D After Dark magazine. That's a magazine that's put together by our dear friend Lucinda Breeding and some other folks over there at the Denton Record Chronicle. There is a great cover story on Hares on the Mountain. It's several pages long. It's an excellent story about the kids. And then there is also a good article. It's a great article by Lucinda about DentonRadio.com, kind of the beginnings, where we started, where we're at now. Talks about Brother Jake Laughlin a lot. Talks about yours truly, Bone Doggie, a little bit. And there's some interesting quotes in there. And it's a very informative story, and it's kind of inspiring to us that work very hard on this radio station, my cats and kittens. It just, you know, you read that and you see it put into words, and how much people actually appreciate what's going on, and we got to throw it right back. You know, we do. We've told Lucinda many times that we try to live very, very strictly to our watchwords, which is we support local here at DentonRadio.com, and we hope you do too. So that's it for the gig schedule, and now I think it's time for a little bit more music, my cats and kittens. And I think what we're going to throw at you is a little bit of soul tax this time around. This is one of their newer tunes. It's called Arise, and you are listening to Doggy Time on DentonRadio.com.
How long will you be following me when I say fall, you hit your knees with ceaseless rhyming outward schemes leave nothing to your history. You have no shoes, my feet must be soothed. Matching flavors of late. You shaped a head, but you're lacking in face. Your shadow forms the shape of cat to mimic what was newest last. You haven't died, but you're not. Such an unworthy chase. You've got your feast, but it's bitter in taste. I have only witnessed light whose face you did not recognize.
everybody, this is Karina Michaela. There are a lot of music venues in Denton, but I wanted to take this time to talk really quick about one I care about very much. Banter, a bistro at 219 West Oak Street, is one of the greatest places to play in Denton. From the open mic to CD releases, all of the artists there come together and support each other. The community at Banter is one unlike any other venue. Everyone is always inviting, complimentary, and true friends of every musician there. If you are an artist looking for a community that will embrace you, Banter is certainly the place you need to be. The address again is 219 West Oak Street, and their website is dentonbanter.com. Come hang out, get a sandwich or some hummus, and take in the local Denton music scene. Thursday night is open mic, and you are going to want to check that out. See you then!
May as well enjoy the sparkly lights, no point in putting up a fight.
All right, my cats and kittens. Yes, indeedy. Good old Banter, who has been taking care of DentonRadio.com since its inception. And so we're always glad to give a shout out to those guys. That is about it. That's about what we have for the show this week, my cats and kittens. Remember to tune in next week, this same doggy time, this same doggy channel. That is every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. for Doggy Time. And, as always, if you want to listen to Doggy Time anytime, you can just click on the Doggy Time button on the DentonRadio.com player, and that will take you to our blog at DentonRadioblog.com. Kind of explains everything, doesn't it? DentonRadioblog.com, where you will also be able to hear past episodes of the show. Once again, paradise is just a mouse click away. Okay, you'd think that anyway, but I do. I got to confess, I go back and I listen to the shows. I love the guests that we've had on the show, and it's interesting to go back and listen to what those guys had to say, and just, you know, we've always had a great time having people in the studio. We will have somebody, I believe, in the studio next week, so stay tuned for that. It ought to be quite fascinating. And of course, you know, you can always find Denton Radio on Facebook. We're out there, so leave us a post on the wall. Tell us how much you loved the Doggy Time show, because Doggy will tell you how much he loved having you listen to him. And spread the gospel, my cats and kittens. Let your friends and neighbors know about this show, and let them know about DentonRadio.com. As a general rule, we're trying very hard to reach the community. And we're doing actually a good job of it. The listenership is going up every week, and we're getting a lot of comments. We're getting a lot of friends and a lot of likes on Facebook. We are diligently working at it here, so we appreciate you, our audience, that is giving us an ear from time to time. So, without further ado, my cats and kittens, I think we are going to roar on out of here with a little tune. Now, I don't know, my cats and kittens, if you are familiar with a comic strip that ran, I think, from the 40s all the way through the 70s or the 80s. This was a comic strip in the newspaper, and it was called Pogo. And Pogo was basically a possum who lived in the Okefenokee Swamp. It was written and drawn very, very well by a guy named Walt Kelly. And it was very philosophical. It was very political. I think Pogo ran for president several times, and it was just a huge icon in the American dictum of politics and just general pop culture. It was kind of a commentary on that. Nonetheless, long story short, too late. One of Pogo's most famous quotes was, "We have met the enemy and he is us." That was a very 60s thing to say. Walt Kelly was kind of trendy. Like I said, he commented a lot on the pop culture. So I thought, since we are going to roar out of here, and roar being the operative word, that it would be wise, fitting, moral, and just to pull out a tune from my good buddies, Sonar Lights. And it sort of addresses the "we have met the enemy and he is us" motif here. So I thought that would fit very nicely. This is a tune that is called "The Enemy Within." We will see you next week. Have a great week. You are listening to Doggy Time on DentonRadio.com. Can you dig it?
We can dig it.
I knew that you could.
but never will I make